order, so see how much we can get done. Welcome everyone, thank you for being here. Today is Wednesday, October 20th. It is 6 p.m. This is the City of West Miami Charter Review Board meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Blanes, would you lead us in the pledge, please, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
I do roll call. Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez.
Present.
Vice Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón.
Here.
Commissioner Candida Blanca.
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes.
Present.
Commissioner Luciana Suarez.
Yes.
Member Lenny Caravia.
Here.
Member Ivan Chavez Sr.
Present.
Ivan Chavez Jr.
Here.
Christian Diaz is absent. Natalie Milian. Here. Eduardo Munina, Member Eduardo Munina is excused. Martin Torres is excused. You have four, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 4, approval of minutes for October 6, 2021 Charter Review Board meeting.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item.
Item 5, on the new business, opening remarks by the mayor.
No opening remarks. Let's move on.
Item 5B, revisited issues discussed at Charter Review Board meeting of October 6, 2021.
Vice Mayor, let's start with yours. Let's start with 3.07.
So, very briefly, what this section talks about is initiative and referendum. Essentially, the residents can elect petitions and put on the ballot to basically introduce an ordinance or a referendum to take away or repeal an ordinance that we pass in the commission.
Okay.
And in order to do that, they need 15% of the registered voters at the last election in petition. Now, the problem I see is by the state constitution, the residents have the right to put a charter amendment on the ballot, right? And in order to do that, they only need 10% of the registered voters, right? So if I wanted to, if I'm a resident and I'm pissed off at something and I want to change something that the commission has done or refuses to do, and I go to the charter and I hire an attorney and I want to change it, what's going to happen is I have two options. I can go and pass and try to put an ordinance on the ballot, or I can repeal it, or I can go and change the charter, right? Because almost anything you can do by ordinance, you can technically do by charter. I mean, we review this charter like we're doing it now, but if you wanted to, you could talk about adding any section you want to this charter, right? So what happens is it creates an incentive to instead change the charter as opposed to changing an ordinance. So, which obviously is a lot more of a permanent process, because if a resident puts out an ordinance on the ballot and it passes, the commission a year later has the right, if it's a mess, to repeal that by vote of the commission, right? If it goes into the charter, the only way to change the charter is by election. So we have to go through the charter review process, and then to take away a permanent change like that is much more difficult. So the only problem I see is that it creates an incentive to go into a charter review where you would otherwise go to try to just put an ordinance on the books, because of that 5% difference. All they need is 10% for a charter review, and that same procedure, they would need 15% for an ordinance or referendum. So I don't know if that's something that this board wants to take up. I know we've taken up a lot of stuff on this, for this charter review already, but that imbalance, and one is the state constitution. So one, that 10% number we can't touch because that's from the state constitution. But the 15% number we can to eliminate that incentive.
So what is it? What exactly are you looking to change, Vice Mayor, on
so
this?
So I would look to match this number to the 10%. To eliminate that incentive, because if somebody wanted to do it, they would be almost crazy to not go through the charter review to change the charter, because they would need 5% less signatures. So, if someone wanted to do it, I would rather have, as a policy perspective, I would rather have somebody go through the ordinance process.
I agree with that.
Than go through the charter. So I would, what I'm suggesting is, since we can't change the state constitution one, right, to match it to the state constitution, to add 10% across the board. So 10% referendum, 10% initiative, 10% charter amendment, right? Everything's 10%, creates no incentive to change the charter.
But you're saying if we lower it to 10, right now it's 15%.
Right.
It'll be easier.
No, yeah, but to change the charter right now through petition, it's only 10%.
So raise it to 15 is what you're saying?
No, we can't raise that one, because that's from the state constitution.
That's where I'm confused.
The
This
state,
is where I'm very
yeah,
confused.
yeah, sure. The state constitution and the state of Florida constitution says that the charter, the city charters can be amended with 10% of the signatures of the registered electors, right? So that's from the state constitution. We can't touch that. There's a state constitution revision committee, but that's across the board for all cities. All cities have to abide by that.
Right.
It's not even in here because it's state. So that's at 10%. We can't touch that. We can't increase that number. We can't lower that number. It's that.
And the city's charter says
The
15?
charter says 15 for the ordinance and repealing of an ordinance or adding an ordinance. Right.
That you're looking at 3.07
Right.
3A.
3A.
That's the only place I see a percentage mentioned.
Right.
I don't see where you're referring to
So
for the charter part.
So the charter part's not even in this charter. It's in the state constitution. So that part, we can't touch that number.
So you want to lessen this to 10?
The 10, right, to match it to that, so to not have any incentive to go and change the charter unnecessarily.
I think I see where you're saying, now correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So let me just, because I'm the least smart person here.
No, that's why I said it was
So-
complicated, that's
I'm
why.
confused.
So here's the thing, so
Right behind you.
you have two ways
Right,
of changing things in the city.
right,
And pardon me for my minimalizing the way I say things. One is an ordinance, right, which the citizens can,
which is what the laws we passed.
right.
The laws we pass here are ordinances.
And, right. And the other one is to change the charter,
Right,
all right? The ordinance, at least there's some checks and balances because it can be reviewed within a year or something, you said, right?
right,
The charter has to go for vote.
Correct.
It's a little more permanent.
Very permanent,
If
yeah.
something went wrong with the citizens and the charter they created, charter change they created, now it's got to be put out to vote, and depending on the wording, it could be successful, it's just whatever.
right.
The threshold for the ordinance is 15% of,
To get it on the ballot.
to get on the
15%.
ballot, 15% of total,
Right.
citizen votes. There isn't one in our charter for this,
Oh.
it's covered by the state,
I just got it.
10%.
I
The
just
10% for the
got
charter,
it
right.
right now.
So-
I just got it.
So the path of least resistance, if somebody wants change, would be, well,
50.
let's go to the state
10%. I just
option and
got
go
it.
to the charter change.
Right, exactly.
By
I
changing
understand.
it to match the state, the easiest way for a citizen to effect change is to do the 10%,
Less
Right.
signatures.
which goes to an ordinance.
Which-
I just got it.
Which would, yeah, so
just got
the easiest way would be to go to do that charter amendment currently, right, would be to go and do the charter amendment.
Because you
Right.
need less signatures.
Because you need less signatures.
I just got it.
And
Right.
then, which obviously, if it passes, if it's something, that sounds right on the ballot, could create some permanent.
It's a more permanent,
Right.
harder to fix.
Whereas if there was something disruptive, and it went through an ordinance process, right, and you're not changing any incentive, right? So
Right.
then the commission, by our charter, it says the commission could repeal it.
The added benefit of a review.
Right, and a year later, if it's not working out, the commission can repeal it. I mean, in a perfect world, you would say the residents would only come and do this if it was a great idea, so the commission wouldn't repeal it in a year, right? But then again, if 80% of the residents or 51% of the residents wanted something, the commission would likely have passed that ordinance, right? So I'm just talking about deleting that incentive, because 5% is significant in terms of getting.
Sure.
In terms of getting signatures, 5% is.
Could mean hundreds of people
Yeah,
or whatever.
it is, it's hundreds. So it's significant, so I'm just talking about reducing that incentive. Because if someone's gonna go get the 10%, they'll get it and they'll go for, so you're not really making it easier. They'll just get it
Yeah,
for
we're-
You're
charter.
putting on a level playing field.
Right.
Yeah, we're
I
not,
got you,
we're
I
not
got you, that makes
saying that
sense.
the citizens would have any nefarious reason to go do an end around,
Right,
but it's human
easier.
nature.
It's easier.
It's easier. They're gonna take the path
Yes.
of least resistance.
And this
So the less
way,
amount, this puts it on, 10, you got 10% for this one or 10% for this one? Pick which one. We
Right.
can't tell you which to pick, but
Right,
now
but I mean,
it's the same. I understand.
a normal person also would just go to the ordinance. I mean,
Correct.
because
It's easy, yes.
that's what makes, that's what makes
Yes.
most sense.
Yeah.
I understand, and I'm in
Oh.
agreement, Vice
So,
Mayor.
makes
I
sense.
think
You
that,
know,
does everyone kind of sort of understand?
But that was a
It
explanation, by
makes
the way.
sense?
I mean-
By the way, thank you. As soon as he stated it, the light bulb went off. I got it.
Hey,
I
you
got
wanna
it.
understand
The
something
wording-
complex, get
the
the dumb
wording
guy to
for-
figure it
No,
out.
I got it. When you
Actually,
said
I
it,
think
I
it
got
would be
it.
kind of good because people like that.
Commissioner, you got it?
Yeah, but how do you
That's my
explain that?
superpower.
So I think when he's, Commissioner Blanes is talking about, you know, bringing this to a ballot, right? You know, how would people, you should just electorally, how would people react to seeing that on their ballot? I think, again, a lot of this wording doesn't show what changes,
Exactly.
right? So, you know, a 10% number like that would look, I'm saying, if to an unexplained person, right? You explained it, it makes a lot of sense to someone, right? But to somebody walking in, it's not explained to them. I think it would actually look like you're giving them another option.
You're
right?
empowering the citizens.
Right, you're empowering the citizens.
making it 5%
So I don't,
easier.
I don't think it's necessarily electoral.
Yeah, no,
You know,
So you propose a 10%?
yeah, that's what I would propose to make it, you know, even.
You underestimate the power
Madam Mayor.
of the voters.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
respectfully, before you
Yes,
vote, I'd
go
like
right
to,
ahead, sir. Go right ahead.
before you vote, I'd like
Yes.
to have some clarification
Absolutely.
and,
That makes sense.
pass on this one so we can bring it out on the next commission,
That's fine.
next
Okay.
charter,
Yeah.
That's
because
fine.
I need some language clarification,
Okay, perfect.
okay?
But are we all are in agreement of, we
Yes.
understand
If
and
we're
we're good?
understanding
We'll
it,
pass
right,
on
yeah.
it, let the attorney clarify? Perfect. So Madam
Yeah.
Clerk, we will bring
Alright.
this one up,
When the
3.07 3A.
3A.
We'll
Also,
come back
this is-
again.
this charter
Okay,
is-
very good.
Yeah.
All right.
And the proposal is to bring it from 15 to 10%.
Correct.
That's correct.
All right.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, that was excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
To bring in line with existing state.
Number of signatures for what?
Okay, so let's move on. We're at 3.08.
Referendum petition.
Mayor and Vice Mayor. Does anyone have any comments, suggestions, or questions on this portion? Pretty self-explanatory. Anything? Anyone?
Just delineating
Oh, we did-
defining.
Did you guys, I know you skipped over mine last time. Did you guys skip over, did you guys do those already?
Which one?
I wasn't here last meeting. I know you skipped over
Last
3.07.
meeting,
Did you guys?
we're waiting for you.
Yeah,
no,
we
I'm
s-
saying, did you guys keep going or did you guys not get to
I
3.07?
think we were on.
Where was the
No,
line?
yeah,
I think we got the same
No, we
third.
kept on going.
we kept going.
Yeah, 4 point,
Oh,
Did you see in the package, did you see where?
Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
what I'm saying, because
right.
we're talking about 3.08, but he was just telling me that you might have already gone through that, that's why.
yeah, we're,
3.08, we did?
Yeah, we did.
we're
Oh,
at 406.
okay,
I
then I
think.
hold on.
past city clerk already.
Then I guess
Yeah, we did all that.
I just saw it next on my thing, so, on my agenda. So where, then now I don't know where we are. Yes, Mr. Attorney?
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
just a
Mr.
matter of,
Attorney? Go right ahead, sir.
just a matter of enlightenment, I guess.
Okay,
I did took the initiative of having the charter amendments 1, 2, and 3 as approved, reduced in language to language,
yes, sir.
and I filed that with the clerk and the manager, and I think that is in your agenda package.
We do have it, yes, sir.
At some point, I believe that you should read it
Okay,
and make comments on the 3 proposed amendments, so we can have finalized the existing 3 proposed amendments. I think that we have traveled a long way.
and we can do that now. This is a good point. Because I don't even know where we stopped. Can somebody, I don't have notes. I was going,
4.06 of it. City
Where-
Last
attorney.
meeting, we left, and I don't know, and now I'm the one confused because I thought when I created the agenda, I was away on a conference and I did it on my laptop. And maybe I mean,
Did you
it
say
erased
4.06?
something,
Yeah.
but we left off
Yeah, we,
city engineer and city attorney.
yeah.
I remember
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
That's right.
407 was gonna be the
I didn't
next.
have my
I mean,
packet,
yes.
but I
oh, okay,
remember
so
going through
let
city
me see if
clerk.
I made a note here.
406, city
Was
attorney and
406.
city engineer.
That was the last one.
Yes,
So
that was
we're
not
on to
pending to
4,
to be discussed at this meeting.
we did 406 or no?
No.
We
So
stopped
we're
it.
starting, okay, perfect. So let's
Review the amendments.
review the amendments, and Lenny does have a comment on that. So let's all go to our amendments.
Where's that located, ma'am?
It is,
On the agenda.
and it
After
is
the,
after the minutes
After the minutes.
in your agenda packet.
What page?
The proposed
Um,
amendment.
it's
2 of 7.
2 of 7.
There's 2 of 7 after the,
Actually, it doesn't have a number.
yeah, at the bottom.
It's not.
Of course, this language has to be approved by the clerk.
It's right after the minutes. It's after page 7 of 7.
Right after the minutes.
Right after page 7 of 7.
Fine.
All right, so we have our proposed charter amendment 1, 2, and 3.
Page 207?
No, it's right after the minutes. Right, go to page, the end of your minutes. No, keep going.
I got it.
No, here,
Let me help her, Madam Mayor.
I got it. Right, 6 of 7, 6 of 7, 7 of 7. You're right here.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, después de los minutos están los, no sé, aquí después de los minutos están los.
Okay, Lenny, I think now is a good time, Mr. Attorney. Lenny had a question and or a
Pero yo también,
suggestion.
el 12.
I think it's excellent. We were talking about it before the meeting, so I'd like her to bring that up now.
On Charter Amendment number 2, I was just thinking, this is the one where we suggested we increased to $300. And then I was thinking that every time in the past that we have taken this to the ballots, the residents have
Voted it down.
voted it down. Okay. As a citizen of the city of West Miami, I'm thinking, why don't we tell them if this, can we tell them right here if this is going to create, people usually tell you, oh no, I'm not going to give them $300 because they're going to increase my taxes. First thing, blinded, they just say, no, they're going to increase my taxes. Are we going to increase their taxes because we're going to give them $300?
This language was the one that you all approved in
I
the
know,
last
but
meeting.
I want to
Yes,
add to it.
follow her.
I
Okay.
want to add to it. I want to say in this will not create an increase to your taxes. in the-
Anyone?
An increase to your taxes.
In the city. It will not. What I'm saying is the city, Dade County passed an ordinance that anytime they're gonna do anything, they gotta tell the citizens how much it's gonna cost them.
Right.
And, if it's gonna affect their taxes, this and that.
Right.
It's, what you did here for our instructions takes very little space. So I think we can use this right here to clarify, no, we're not gonna increase your taxes because of this. So, like we were saying, educating the customer, the resident.
But let me talk to you a little bit
But
about
let me
Yes,
add
ma'am.
something.
Yes.
Pepe, what I was saying with Lenny prior to the meeting, we only used, like 14 words, okay? We can use up to 75.
75.
So why don't we maximize the usage of our allotment to better explain or to let the residents know more, like Lenny was saying.
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
with all due respect, the issues that go to the charter is exactly the language that is going to go in the charter. The explanation and the education are not items that are supposed to go in an election ballot. So this is a general rule, and as I say, we can clarify that with the clerk, and we can clarify that with the election board. But as I say, the language that goes in the charter are not educational
You mean on the ballot? The language that's on the ballot is exactly what's going to be in the charter.
in the charter, correct? Okay? So we cannot use, like it was suggested before, which is true, the $20 was set forth 40 years ago and so on and so forth. That does not go in the ballot. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? Madam Clerk?
No, I just was making a comment like, it doesn't include like historical information or educational information.
Correct.
So there is no way we can put actually on the ballot a little better, or more information, or...
No, but you can put out a
No,
newsletter.
yes, we know that,
we know that newsletter,
We
but-
know that, but But half the people aren't gonna read it,
Right.
and by the time they get to the polls, they're not gonna forget. So if it was right there in front of them, when they went to make that vote, okay, they're gonna see it. They're gonna, click, it's gonna
Right.
click.
Right.
Are we, and
Can we find out if we can put it, this will not increase real property taxes?
I can do further research, but as I said, I've been doing this for quite a while,
Yeah,
and I have been dealing with the Elections Department for quite a while,
yeah.
and with Miami-Dade County Elections Department and charter reviews in not only Miami-Dade County, but also many other municipalities. And I advise you that whatever language goes in the ballot is the language that is going to go in the charter. So if you put the explanation and all of that, that is something that is not proper to put in a ballot. Am I correct, Madam Clerk?
Well, here's the problem I'm having with it is, putting on my voter hat, is that I see $400 a month.
Even though it says
If
3?
you read it, because it's the $300 a month,
Why do you
but-
see 4?
because you add the 100
Non-accountable.
non-accountable that's there already. As a citizen, listen, I understand what that is, but as a citizen, abuelita or abuelito or mi tío or mi tía is gonna go, pero espérate, 300 plus 100 is 400.
Well, they don't,
Most
when
people
they're
don't
seeing
know.
this, they don't know about the 100. Not that we're trying, not that
Well,
we're
but that's
trying
the
to.
language, isn't it?
This is the
They
exact
have to read
language
the
that's gonna be
charter.
on the ballot.
This is.
Doesn't that mention?
No.
No, this
this
is
is
with
the
that
one we're
section
saying.
of
The charter to
the
see that.
charter that talks about compensation.
That's all that's gonna be on the ballot.
Like,
Which part?
Right.
This part, all
The
of
one
this?
that-
This
No,
is-
Those
go-
are the
go to the
minutes.
proposed.
Those are the minutes.
Oh,
After the
oh, these are
minutes,
still
yeah,
the
the-
minutes.
Yeah, go to the, go,
Yeah, I thought
keep
you
going
guys
to the
said
end.
No,
2-7.
no, those are the minutes.
All right, my bad.
Okay.
It was 2-7 initially. but-
Yeah, they said 2-7, and I'm sitting there 2-7. So it's
No,
7-7?
it's after
After
2 of 7.
After 7-7.
Those are the
The middle
proposed
one.
questions.
Oh, okay,
As
it'll pass.
of today.
After 7 of 7. Okay, so that's, okay.
Yeah, I was reading that, I was like, espérate, we're sinking this boat before it takes off.
And, my question would be, what would be so bad about that additional language being on
I
the
don't
charter?
think it'd be so bad.
What would
I
be,
mean,
Mr. Attorney, Madam Clerk, Mr.
Well,
Attorney?
it'll go permanently in the charter. It'll
So who
say,
cares?
and this will not raise your taxes.
Because
like,
it
it'll
could be leading.
like codified in the charter.
Yeah,
Right?
and then-
Is that a problem?
And then it's in
I don't
stone
see
forever.
But can you guarantee that? Like,
No.
that's, so if I look up the charter,
Okay,
I'm like, wait a
okay,
second,
okay, you're right.
I was
You're
promised
right.
4 years
You're
ago.
right.
No,
I
four.
would
If you wanna put them in
You
the
were
charter,
promised-
I'm down. We'll never raise
No.
taxes.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put that in the charter, I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
listen.
all for it. I'm a resident.
The way things are done, it'll be in the charter, and 50 years from now, you'll say, oh, hey, you're not supposed
Yeah,
to be
you said
raising
you
my...
wouldn't raise my taxes.
No, for this particular reason.
And since you did, I want retro.
Hey,
All right, so what
unless
do we
get a
what are we
mail-in
thinking
ballots,
here,
nothing will
guys? What are we
pass.
thinking?
I think the only way around it is if you can add language to the shall be amended, You can add it to that portion,
Oh,
but I don't know if that's a.
Mr. Attorney, can we add additional language to the shall Article 3 compensation expenses, first paragraph be amended to read? Can we add it to there? Okay,
Before the
Charter Amendment
quotation
number
marks.
2.
Outside quotations.
The shall Article 3.
Let me go out to the actual language of the,
Okay,
hold on a second.
Because the quotation is what's going in the charter.
Right, that's what they're actually voting.
No,
So you go
the
outside
actual
the
language of
quotation
the
zone.
charter is,
Yeah, the members of the residents.
Yeah, there's 3 of
Okay,
us.
it's a quick call, but you guys can.
I'm going to page 5 of the charter. Okay? And it says, members of the council shall receive a compensation in the amount of $20 per meeting on attendance until such change the council's until such is changed by the council in accordance with the provision of this charter. Members of the council may be excused for compensation of no more than 2 meetings during each year of the member terms of office. Members of the council shall not receive compensation for attending at no more of 30 meetings per year. So the language, whatever you want to include, has to go in the first paragraph.
Yes, no, I'm not, I'm talking about your proposed,
Okay?
okay?
Not my proposal, your proposal.
Okay, this page, talk about this page titled proposed, okay? Charter Amendment number 2. Shall Article 3, compensation and expenses, first paragraph be amended to read. Is that line, that sentence going to be on the ballot?
I'm asking you to tell me what is it that you want to put in the ballot.
No, you don't understand my question.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yes, yes,
Is that
because
line,
you have to
okay,
cite
thank you. Is
the
this,
specific
is this sentence, is this going to be on the ballot?
Yes, because you have to cite
Perfect.
specifically the section
Perfect, stop
that
there.
you're.
Can we say what we wanted to say here, can we say it here? Because this is not going to be on the charter, is it? This is going to be on the charter.
I guess the question would be, is that language modifiable? Is that something that can be
I
modified?
think we need to modify the language.
Or is
Apunta
it
aquí.
standard elections language that we
15,
can't
19,
modify?
18, 5.
Maybe that's something you
15,
need to find
15,
out for the next.
Does that make sense? Is my
Yes,
question?
you
make
just
That
sense?
think-
makes sense and.
Suma eso.
Because that way it can be on the ballot to help clarify in the voters' minds, but yet it will not be part of the charter. Does everyone understand what I'm asking here?
Yes.
That, do we
Yes, yes,
It'll
put
be
this
on the ballot, but it
clarification
won't translate to the charter.
after the shall, whatever amendment to be read,
I can call the election.
maybe in parentheses, this, whatever, this will not affect whatever.
Yeah.
But do you mean on that, like, shall Article 3 conversations are preferred be amended to
73,
read?
74,
What
75,
else?
76,
I
77,
understand
78,
members of the
79,
commission
80.
shall receive, I understand that part.
Si nosotros
Correct.
añadimos
Result
eso.
in
We
an
can't
increase
add
in
how
the
to
It
that.
will
Okay.
appear on the charter. yes.
Correct, but if we can further explain using the line that's gonna be on the ballot, but not on the charter, to further clarify the charter wording,
With that money, that's
is that possible?
How,
The point is just to hopefully let the voters understand a little bit more about what we're trying to do.
Can you find out what the election?
I can find out because
They're gonna increase
you,
the taxes.
I
But
mean,
more money from here,
if
this
you-
over here, gonna increase the taxes.
if you put that questions, this is kind of the question. More extensive, it may confuse the voter on, if you start like elaborating on the question like, shall the article compensation be changed because it has not been changed in
Well,
40 years?
We don't wanna go at all that, but just a little bit more to help the voters understand what they're gonna be voting on.
Provide some kind of a reference or?
I'm not that far ahead in my thoughts. I'm just, since I understand why I can't change members of the commission shall receive compensation, because that is going to be in the charter. But if I can use a line that's going to be on the ballot, that's not gonna be in the charter, to help further clarify in these voters' minds what we're trying to achieve.
Madam Mayor, you cannot do that.
What?
You cannot put in the charter something.
No, forget charter.
Just in the question.
Okay, here.
What about may I, Madam Mayor?
But no, let me, Mr. Attorney, understand.
Yes.
Mr. Attorney, you're saying this here, this is on the charter. This is gonna be the charter, correct?
It makes sense though.
That's the charter. We can't touch that. Perfect. That's gonna be on the ballot too, right? Okay. This line is gonna be on the ballot as well, isn't it? Okay. Can we add a little bit more into this line? It's gonna be on the ballot, but not in the charter.
No,
To
no,
help
but I'm
clarify.
sorry. If it's in the ballot, it must be in the charter.
This sentence is going to be in our charter?
Excuse me, listen to me.
No, it's a question.
If it goes,
What it is.
the answer is this. If it goes in the ballot, the language that goes in the ballot must be the one that goes in the charter.
I'm not asking you to change this language. I'm
Okay.
not asking you to change this language.
Okay?
I'm asking to add a few other words to this
No, no.
line.
Question, Pepe.
No, look.
Where the holidays are coming up.
Here.
Good opportunity to get out there.
In all of the charter questions, every single charter questions, the first sentence
You have to do
has
that
to be,
because
has
anytime-
to be
I'm
by
a
law.
voter, you're a voter, anytime you
Shall
say-
Article 3
okay,
compensation
yeah.
expenses, first paragraph be
You know how that
amended
goes.
to read, period, no more.
Yeah, but some of the president.
Cannot expand that.
Yeah.
The,
So,
have launched
Madam Mayor,
Lenny, we cannot do it.
no, yo le iba a
Can I say
cambiar.
something?
Yes, go right ahead.
Let's
I'm
see
sorry,
si se
you're
puede.
next. Commissioner
A ver,
Earl.
if we
You
can.
know, I don't want to sound negative,
Go.
but there's so much, in general, there's so much distrust in government right now that if we would be able to include that and the taxes will not be raised, it would be like a big red flag.
Well, we can't. That's
For
a good point now.
Mr.
He
and
just said we
Mrs.
can't do
West
it.
Miami.
Yeah, we can't
They
do it.
read that, no, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
if they read that, immediately it's like, oh, why are they saying that?
Right.
yeah,
You know, because you know, people in general, they do not trust government.
I got you.
They, you know, even us, even our little city, West Miami government, and that is the general consensus of people out there. So, I mean, I don't know, I hate to be
No,
pessimistic,
no, but
but
we can't do it. So,
we gotta be realistic.
with the attorney.
The reason, Madam Mayor, the reason that I brought this out to this session today is that this was the one that you approved in the prior meeting.
Yes, yes.
And since
We're not
we
questioning
approved it, I wanted to bring it to your attention that the language that you approved might be questionable, like Commissioner Blanes has said.
that. Yes,
But as I say, whatever the wording,
yes.
okay, goes into the ballot, that's exact wording must go into the charter.
We got it.
No more.
We got it. We
Okay?
understand that
Yeah.
100%. We were just questioning that other
Francis, let
sentence,
me go further.
But we got it.
No, go out, well, okay.
Okay.
Go out to 3.4, please.
Okay.
3.04.
Yep, we're there.
Assuming that we just went ahead and added the entire paragraph in 3.04, paragraph 1. Okay? Paragraph 1 of 3.04 contains 72 words. 72 words, the entire paragraph. Okay?
Okay?
Conceivably, we could insert the $300 within that first paragraph. Except that paragraph contains 72 words, and you cannot explain compensation of $300 in addition to the 72 words, and make it 75.
No, Mr. Attorney, we are fine with members of the commission shall receive compensation of $300 per month. We're good. We're good.
Okay?
Our question was not on that. We are good, right?
Yes.
We're all good with that.
We're all good with it.
We're good with the language, we're good that it's gonna be on the ballot. We just wanted, my question was, could we add to the shall Article 3 compensation line, could we add to that line, and your answer was no. So we're done, we're good, we're moving on. All right, so,
Plus, when you tell people that it's not about the money, it is about the money.
got you. We're good, that's dead, that was done, it's gonna be in the ballot just like it is there. All right, any comments on Amendment 1 or 3?
I have a question on this
Yes,
one.
go.
I know we had discussed matching with the state and the county, for example, have as a requirement for running or qualifying for office. Does this 1 year match the state, like if you're running for office in the state?
I don't know.
Does it match?
Mr. Attorney, does,
Actually, I think he said that it was,
I'm sorry, with the mask, you have to speak a little bit louder because I cannot understand what you're saying.
go ahead, Natalie.
Oh, my question was, the proposed amendment, does that match what would be required at the state level or like at the county level?
Which question?
Number one, the residency requirement.
The 1 year, does that match state and county?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, no, it doesn't, I mean, it's
And
legal.
case law.
It's legal, but what
No, I'm
she's
asking,
asking is in terms of,
Is it the same as?
yeah, no,
your-
the county is 6 months,
Oh, okay.
and the state, you actually don't, I don't know what the residency requirement to actually live in Florida, but you don't actually have to live in the district until you're elected.
Oh, okay.
But they're different. But 1 year is, I mean, I'll talk to the attorney on it, we've gone through a lot of them. 1 year is pretty standard.
and then there was
Oh.
case law that kind of argues
Right, which is
even less.
what we went
Yeah.
by, okay.
The language is the court frowns on 2 years or more. That's the word that they use,
Okay.
frown.
Perfect. All right, so, anybody else on?
I think
one-
that you have done, by the way, I think that you have done pretty good by going down to the 1 year. I personally feel very comfortable by the fact that you all decided that you wanted to go to 1 year.
Perfect, perfect,
Miami Beach, for instance, has an election this week, and it's 1 year,
okay,
okay?
excellent.
And there are cities across the state of Florida that 6 months is sufficient.
Oh, and just to, on his point, Miami Beach, there was a candidate who kicked off the ballot,
I saw that,
yeah, for not residing here.
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's happened before. Okay, anything else on 1, 2, or 3? Okay, so we're happy with this, and this is what the language will be.
I want to thank you for reviewing this, and I apologize that I had to go there, but
No, we were going to get there. I'm glad we stopped and did it now. That's fine. Okay, so let's go jump to 406. City attorney, city engineer.
406.
City attorney, city engineer. Any comments, questions, concerns? No? Okay, moving on. We're into finance and taxation.
Article 5, Finance and Taxation, is something that is really very technical,
Okay,
and I think that you should hear the manager on the finance and taxation. This is something that is provided and has been very successfully. I was here when Ms. Aguilar was not the city manager, and I saw for firsthand the confusion at time of approval of the budget. So I'm very gratified that subsequent to the prior manager, we have been so fluent, believe it or not, in approval the fiscal year and the finances of the city of West Miami. So it's up to you and the manager if she has any suggestions. But budget hearing is something which is statewide law. Fiscal year is statewide 501. Submission of the final budget of the annual budget is state law as well. Contents of the manager's budget message. I don't like to say that it's too long, but sometimes it is.
That's up to the manager. I
But-
mean, I could put a
That
three-liner,
would be-
here's
no,
your
no, no,
budget.
But it's very explanatory, and I think that
Yeah.
the fact that prior to the public hearing, you meet with each one of the commissioners, that's the way, the proper way that should be. The public hearing and the notices are state statutes, so I think that you would have to abide by that. The budget hearing is something state also by state statute, and the revision of the budget is something that you might want to discuss, but the manager would have to give her input on that.
Budget revisions usually take place in large municipalities. But we try to identify everything that could possibly go wrong other than natural disasters, which we can't predict, yet we have an allocation for it. So we've never had to undergo a revision of the budget process because I feel that it's not to our horn, but I think we do a good job at planning. We don't forecast long-term capital improvements because our city is just very small and we have to count our pennies, and we know what we have today. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I think that the budget section and the submittal of the budget process, it is guided by TRIM and by the Department of Revenue. And just today, we got our final compliance certification on the budget, and there were no violations because it has to meet certain statutory guidelines. So I'm not recommending that we change anything in the budget unless the commission wishes to revisit any of the sections that deal with the budget.
Anybody else? Okay, we're all in agreement of taking the manager's recommendation that the entirety of section Article 5, finance and taxation, remains the same, unchanged, and we move on. All in agreement, say aye.
Aye.
All right, then we are into Article 6, qualifications and elections. Any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions? Article 6. And Madam Clerk, this affects you as well, so when I open it up to questions, comments, it opens it up to staff as well. Madam Manager, Mr. Attorney, any comments, questions, suggestions,
No.
clarifications?
Not on 601, 602, 603. 604 deals with recall, and again, I think a recall is also guided by Florida statutes, and it does cite the statute that deals with recall issues.
Shall we move on? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're on to Article 7, general provisions. This to me looks pretty,
Sorry, I just had a comment.
yes, go
I
back.
just noticed that on 605, they refer to Miami-Dade County as Metropolitan-Dade County.
605.
Yeah, good catch.
Madam Clerk, is that one of the things that we don't have to put on the charter to change? Our 6.05, Metropolitan-Dade County can be changed to Miami-Dade County?
Well, I mean, has it been changed by the county, or are they still calling it that?
Yeah, I think
Because they may still be
changed it.
calling it
No,
that.
They call it
They-
Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, they
Okay, yeah,
changed
so-
it. It was Metropolitan, they did change it.
Is this one of the
I do
things we
recall
can
that
change
the-
Esto no
without
doesn't
going to
require
charter, without
a
going to
charter
the vote?
change,
I recall that they did
referring
change
to
it.
Miami-Dade County.
County.
This doesn't require a charter change, Madam Mayor.
They're just changing
So we
it to
just-
reflect
The
an
city
existing-
attorney, exactly. The city attorney usually writes a legal opinion on that based on, and we submit that to MuniCode. And Neri will, if any of these charter amendments do pass and we need to change anything in the charter, he usually, just like when the city commissioners were referred to as councilmen,
But and that got changed, right?
that got
Okay, so
changed.
can we change that as well? To
Yes.
Miami-Dade County.
Mhm.
Thank you, Nadia. Okay, we're on to Article 7, general provisions. This looks to me like a lot of legalities. Anybody?
It's not too bad, actually.
Mr. Attorney? Madam Manager?
The severability clause in section 702 means that if anything that contains herein is contrary to law or to state or federal law, then that particular section shall be invalid and the rest of the charter shall become as written and will be valid.
And the rest of this section? Should we look at anything in particular, or is everything okay as is?
Pepe, 703, the issue of the liens. It talks about such liens shall have the same priority and dignity as the real estate taxes. And you and I have talked about that
What section you talking about?
over and
Manager?
over and over.
703.
The entire-
703.
Last line.
I think if I may, recommend that the city attorney take a look at this because, and.
The issue is that it says such liens shall have the same priority and dignity as real estate taxes. That has its limitations because you cannot, real estate taxes can be applied to homestead owned by tenants by the entireties. Tenants by the entireties means husband and wife, okay? Now, you cannot lien, you can lien property as tenants by the entirety, but you cannot execute liens against property tenant by the entirety until that property is sold. In other words, if you had something called tenants in common, that would be two persons owning the same property, that when one person dies, the portion owned by that particular person that dies inures to his heirs. If you put something that tenants in common with right of survivorship, if you have two persons and one dies, right of survivorship would inure to the other person and to their heirs and followers. So when it says dignity, same dignity as real estate taxes, that would be questionable by court of law, and if the liens set by the city of West Miami are posterior to liens set by mortgages. In other words, if the mortgage is accrued, is valid on January 1st, 1980, and we have a lien on that same property on the year 1982, of course, 1980 will trump over any lien that we might have in the city of West Miami. In other words, we cannot go, the state of Florida property is a notice type of law. In other words, anything that is filed in court has priority over subsequent liens that are placed there. And that would be except taxes. Now, when we say that it would be in the same category, dignity, property taxes, that would have to be determined by court. I would not change that at all.
Okay, we don't change it. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Anything else in 7?
Pardon my very voice, but I'd like to
No,
put it on the
thank
record.
you,
Okay?
Thank you. Any, anything else in section 7?
No, go ahead.
I do have a question. I want to get your thoughts. Are you all, is everyone comfortable with the charter every 4 years? I mean, I'm neither here nor there, but this is the time we could change it. The charter review every 4 years, do you find that to be productive, not productive? What are your thoughts on 7.06?
So the only comment I'll make on
Try
that
to
is,
review board.
I know generally across governments it's usually 4
I
years.
can hear him. No
So like
sorry.
counties, 4 years.
It is.
Mr. Vice Mayor, we cannot hear you.
I'm sorry. I was saying, I was putting my thoughts in. I don't know if it's more productive or less productive. I was just saying that generally, and maybe you can opine on this, to generally across municipalities and the county, it's usually 4 years.
The
So
charter
it's
review
a
board.
standard. Obviously, the state one, which is a much more powerful constitution, is a
Yeah.
10-year revision, but
Yep.
but it's usually
Okay,
4 years.
most county,
I
in
think
the
for you,
county,
it's way too much.
most cities have a
It's way too much.
4-year
Okay,
review
just
process
a
for
question.
charter.
I just want to get your,
It's not fixed.
Standard.
It's not broken. Don't fix
I
it.
just wanted to get your thoughts. That was.
4
But-
years has been
Don't,
working well.
don't kill me. It was just, I just
think-
wanted to get your thoughts and feelings.
I think if we try to increase it, it might raise some eyebrows, you know?
Again,
Just like- just
I'm
like-
not trying to change the world
just
here.
like we
It was
want-
just,
Yeah.
I wanted to get the,
It's not
you know, the
broken.
temperature of the table. That's all.
That would be like increasing the amount of time, you know, a resident has to live in the city to be able to run.
Moving
for office.
on, moving
Yeah,
on,
we'll be
moving
taken that
on.
way,
We're
too.
on.
4 years,
We've
okay.
moved.
Maybe if we can
We've
affect the
moved
moon
on.
cycles or something.
You
There you
proposed
go.
4 years.
We've moved on. We're done. We're moved on.
Yeah, the springtime.
All right, so we're in, do we want to
Spring.
start Article 8 or do we want
No
to
such thing as king time.
stop
It's
now?
springtime. No,
Go to the eight.
springtime.
No, mira la hora que es.
They call
The
it-
8's it,
They
guys.
call it a
We
king
This
finished
is
in 2
it.
minutes.
springtime.
You know what? We're gonna look at 8. The 8 is it. Do we have any, questions, comments, concerns with Article 8, which is the last article?
Wow. Record breaking. How do we go through this thing?
This is a lot of housekeeping things, if you ask me.
Yep.
So,
Administrative Irish minutes. Well, we meet all the way to December.
nothing?
No problems. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we finished our charter.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead.
Since we're so effective, maybe we should change it to every year.
I just have
I'm gonna
to,
miss you
I
guys.
honestly have to say that I've been on several charter review committees. Lenny, you were with me, Natalie. This is been unbelievably
Yep.
productive,
Very,
outstanding,
very
and
As being smart,
efficient.
So
smart board.
we'll need at least one more meeting for a
No,
couple
yes, yes,
reasons.
yes, I'm
Yeah,
just
for a
saying.
couple reasons, but
We
to-
have gone through the entire
to do the
charter.
finalization of the language, and also that the last, the language from the last one that we, 15%.
Yes.
And then also, because if we get,
review it.
well, actually, we got a few resident members, but hopefully we have a
So
full
we
board to
may
finalize
just be
it.
having one more, okay,
more.
so our next one is,
November 3rd?
Definitely less
November 3rd?
painful.
Yes.
less painful, right, than many of the others.
We finish 8, right?
We're done, sir, we're gonna have one more meeting. Okay, next commission meeting,
Mayor,
we're having one more meeting.
with your permission, I have to go to my
Go
house.
feed your dog.
I have to
Okay, wait,
feed my
let me
dog.
officially adjourn this meeting. This meeting is adjourned.
In order-
Go feed Nacho, go.
She's like, she's like,
He
where
needs to
is
be
he?
back by
I
7:30.
want my food.
And they gotta be.
With South Florida Hispanic
Thank you
traditions
very
and
much.
ending with a Cuban colloquialism, I would like to
I
say,
fed my dog
El pan de la
before
mula.
before I came, and I left the can, the open can right on the counter. When my wife gets home,